We apologize if the TTS voice in this video sounds less natural, or if there are minor mispronunciations in mathematical formulas. For the best experience, we recommend listening while reading along with the text on screen. Finding God Through Math, Introduction Part 2. 2. The Early Traces of Mathematics, From Sand to Stars. On the banks of the Euphrates and Tigris, the Sumerians inscribed numbers on clay tablets, not merely to count harvests, but to conquer confusion with order. Ancient Egypt elevated mathematics to the monumental realm, pyramids as monuments to cosmic order. Their proportions seem to declare that numbers are the universal language for constructing physical reality. In India, a revolution was born, 0 and 1. 0 symbolized emptiness and potential, 1 symbolized existence and unity. They stood side by side as a cosmic pair, non-being being, potential actuality. In China, the Ching presented the universe through binary patterns of broken and unbroken lines, yin and yang dancing in 64 hexagrams. This ancient wisdom preceded modern binary logic, showing how the interaction of two fundamental states could generate infinite complexity. Pythagoras declared, "All things are numbers." The Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, became an icon of cosmic harmony. Even music, for him, was the ratio of numbers. The proportion of strings gave birth to harmony, just as the planets moved in an inaudible, cosmic music. From these traces we see, the number 1 has always been the axis, the fundamental tone of cosmic music, the starting point of geometry, and the foundation of all numbers. This is the essence of the philosophy of number 1. The greatest harmony originates from oneness. 3. The mystery behind our trust in numbers. Every morning, when you open your eyes and reach for your phone on the nightstand, you are entrusting your life to something invisible. The touchscreen responds to your finger in a millionth of a second, not because of magic, but because millions of transistors inside the processor chip calculate with binary algorithms, 1 and 0, on and off, yes and no. Each tap of your finger is a command translated into a sequence of numbers, sent through copper circuits just a few nanometers wide, processed by billions of Boolean logic gates, then appearing as colors, words, or the face of someone you love on an OLED screen. You never see these numbers working, yet you trust them completely, even staking your communication, business, and memories on them. When you brew coffee in the morning, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, not 99 degrees Celsius, not 101 degrees Celsius. The thermometer in the electric kettle doesn't guess, it calculates electrical resistance in the thermocouple sensor that changes linearly according to Ohm's law, V equals IR. When the temperature reaches the boiling point, the automatic switch cuts the current based on mathematical calculations written into the microcontroller chip. You drink that coffee calmly, without thinking that your trust in the consistency of numbers, that water always boils at the same point, is an unspoken faith in the order of nature. In school, children sit in geometry class, drawing triangles. The teacher teaches the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This formula was discovered by Pythagoras 2,500 years ago in ancient Greece, yet it remains true today, in Jakarta, in New York, on the space station, even in the Andromeda Galaxy. When architects design skyscrapers, they use the same theorem to calculate structural strength. When civil engineers build suspension bridges spanning 2 kilometers, they entrust the lives of thousands to differential calculus equations that calculate load distribution and cable tension. No architect doubts whether 3 to the power of 2 plus 4 to the power of 2 still equals 5 to the power of 2 today. This trust is more solid than any religious belief, because it is proven every second by physical reality that never lies. In nuclear physics laboratories, scientists fire protons at near light speed inside the Large Hadron Collider. They cannot see these subatomic particles. The Higgs boson they discovered in 2012 existed for only 10 squared seconds before decaying. Yet they knew the particle existed because of its mathematical signature, the energy distribution curve on detector sensors, a graph peak at 125 GeV, c squared, matching exactly the predictions of the Higgs field equation written by Peter Higgs in 1964. Millions of terabytes of data were analyzed using Bayesian statistics, Fourier transforms, and quantum wave equations. The Nobel Prize was awarded not because they saw something, but because the numbers spoke, and numbers never lie. Look to the sky. On July 20, 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the Moon, a journey of 384,400 kilometers through the vacuum of space. No roads, no signs, no GPS. Yet Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin arrived safely because of Newton's orbital mechanics calculations, the universal law of gravitation, F equals G times m1 m2, r squared, the law of conservation of momentum, and the Tsiolkovsky rocket equation. Every second, the Apollo guidance computer, with computational capability lower than your phone today, recalculated position, velocity, and thruster angles based on these formulas. An error of 0.1 degrees in launch angle meant missing by thousands of kilometers. Yet they arrived precisely at the Sea of Tranquility. Mathematics leaves no room for approximately in space. It's absolute or death. Even the music you listen to is audible mathematics. When a pianist presses middle C, the string vibrates at a frequency of 261.63 Hz. Exactly, never 261.62 or 261.64 Hz. When they play a C major chord, C-E-G, the frequency ratio of the three notes is 4, 5 to 6, the same mathematical ratio that makes the chord sound harmonious to human ears in every culture, from Europe to Papua. Composer Johann Sebastian Bach wrote the Well-Tempered Clavier, based on the equal temperament system that divides the octave into 12 semitones with a frequency ratio of 2 1/12, an irrational number that allows music to be played in any key. When you get goosebumps listening to Beethoven's symphony, you are actually experiencing mathematics, air pressure waves oscillating according to trigonometric equations, processed by your ears' cochlea working like a biological Fourier transform, translating vibrations into electrical signals that your brain interprets as emotion. In the medical world, when a doctor scans your body with MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, they don't dissect you. They listen to the quantum resonance of protons in hydrogen atoms in your body. The MRI machine creates a magnetic field of 1.5 to 3 Tesla, 60,000 times Earth's magnetic field, making protons spin in alignment. When the field is turned off, protons return to random positions, releasing radio signals at specific frequencies. The computer captures millions of these signals, processes them with fast Fourier transform, FFT, algorithms, and reconstructs a three-dimensional image of your internal organs, pixel by pixel, based on mathematical calculations from invisible electromagnetic waves. Diagnosis of cancer, stroke, or brain tumors depends on the accuracy of numbers calculated by the machine in milliseconds. Your life, literally, is determined by trust in mathematics. When you drive a car, the ABS, anti-lock braking system, works 15 times per second, calculating the friction coefficient between tires and asphalt using wheel speed sensors and accelerometers. When you brake suddenly, the computer calculates, if the wheels lock, static friction becomes kinetic friction, braking force drops 30%. Solution: release apply brakes at 15 Hz. All this happens in 0.067 seconds, faster than you blink. You don't know the mathematics behind ABS, yet you entrust your life to differential formulas written by engineers in laboratories years ago. Even the global economy revolves around invisible numbers. Every second, trillions of dollars transfer through the SWIFT network, stock exchanges calculate indices with weighted algorithms, cryptocurrency operates with elliptic curve cryptography, ECDSA, and your credit card is validated with the Loon algorithm, a simple formula that checks whether your 16-digit card number is valid. If one digit is wrong, the transaction is rejected. Modern civilization is a giant building standing on a foundation of numbers. And here's the amazing mystery: numbers have no physical form. You cannot touch the number 7, cannot smell pi, cannot weigh the Pythagorean theorem. Yet our trust in numbers is stronger than trust in anything in the physical world. We build tall buildings, fly planes, perform heart surgery, send messages to the ends of the earth, all based on absolute certainty that 1 + 1 will always equal 2. Not just on Earth, on Mars, on Saturn, even in the Andromeda Galaxy. When NASA sends signals to Voyager 1, now 24 billion kilometers from Earth, they know that the mathematics they use to calculate radio signal travel time, speed of light equals 299,792,458 meters per second, will remain valid there. Why? Why don't mathematical laws change? Why is the gravitational constant G equals 6.674 times 10 cubic meter per kilogram s squared the same throughout the universe? Why do electrons always have a charge of -1.602 times 10 to the power of 9 coulombs, never -1.603 or -1.601? Why is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter always pi equals 3.14159, never 3.14 or 3.15? Physical objects change, iron rusts, mountains erode, stars explode. But numbers never rust. A theorem that is true today will remain true a million years from now. This is not because mathematics is strong, it's because mathematics is more fundamental than matter itself. Matter obeys mathematics, not the other way around. The deepest answer leads us to one inevitable conclusion: there is an invisible source of order, a metaphysical structure that precedes and supports all physical reality. There is a grand conductor who keeps the symphony of the universe harmonious, who ensures that the law of gravity applies the same in the Andromeda Galaxy as in our solar system, who guarantees that mathematics written on a blackboard will work in the laboratory, and on Mars. In spiritual language, this is unity, the oneness that binds billions of differences into one harmony. One principle that makes trillions of particles, billions of stars, millions of species, and billions of humans all dance to the same score. And if there is a universal score, there must be a composer who wrote it. 4. The number 1, the small seed that births the universe. Look at the number 1. A simple vertical line. A kindergartner can write it. Yet behind its simplicity lies the deepest mystery in the history of human thought. The number 1 is the only number that, when multiplied by itself, produces itself. 1 times 1 equals 1. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. To infinity, it remains intact, unchanged, undivided. It is the multiplicative identity, the neutral element that allows all mathematical operations to occur. Without the number 1, there is no multiplication, no division, no exponentials, no logarithms. The entire structure of mathematics would collapse. But what's more astonishing, all other numbers are derivatives of 1. 2 is 1 plus 1. 3 is 1 plus 1 plus 1. 10 is 1 plus 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 1. Even negative numbers, -1 is the opposite of 1. Fractions, 1/2 is 1 divided by 2. Irrational numbers, square root 2 is the square root of 1 plus 1. Even complex numbers, I, the root of -1, is a transformation of 1. Mathematician Giuseppe Peano at the end of the 19th century formulated Peano's axioms, 5 basic rules that define all natural numbers. The first axiom states, 1 is a natural number. From this one axiom, with the simple operation, add 1, called the successor function, the entire system of natural numbers is born. 1, then 1 plus 1 equals 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3, then 3 plus 1 equals 4. To infinity. All of mathematics, geometry, calculus, algebra, number theory, is built from a single foundation, the number 1. This is not a metaphor. This is an irrefutable mathematical fact. If you erase the number 1 from the number system, all of mathematics will never exist. There will be no formulas, no equations, no logical structures. The number 1 is the cosmic seed that births the entire framework of human understanding of reality. Singularity, when physics meets the number 1. Modern physics provides an astonishing analogy. According to the Big Bang theory developed by Georges Lemaitre, 1927, and supported by Edwin Hubble, 1929, the universe we know, with 2 trillion galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars, originated from one point. That point is called a singularity, a condition where all mass, energy, space, and time of the universe were compressed into a volume approaching zero. Not very small, truly dimensionless. No inside or outside. No before or after, because time did not yet exist. In the singularity, the laws of physics we know, Newton's gravity, Maxwell's electromagnetism, quantum mechanics, all collapse. What remains is only one condition: pure potential, absolute unity. Then, in the first 10 to the power of 4 cubed seconds, Planck time, this singularity exploded, or more precisely, expanded, in the event we call the Big Bang. In a fraction of a second, space expanded faster than the speed of light, cosmic inflation phase. Temperature dropped from 10 to the power of 32 Kelvin to 10 to the power of 27 Kelvin. Fundamental particles, quarks, electrons, photons, began forming from pure energy. In the first 3 minutes, protons and neutrons combined to form hydrogen and helium atomic nuclei. In 380,000 years, stable atoms formed and the first light broke through the primordial fog. This is the cosmic microwave background we detect today. From one point, trillions of structures were born. From unity, uncountable diversity was born. Yet leading physicists, Stephen Hawking, Roger Penrose, Alan Guth, all agree, the singularity is a condition of 1 in the most literal sense. No division, no fragmentation, no duality. Only pure unity that then differentiated into all that exists. Hawking in A Brief History of Time, 1988, wrote, "The universe would have started in a smooth and ordered state. As time went on, the universe would have become lumpy and disordered. But the whole universe would have had to have started from a single point. From one to many, differentiation without loss of essence. This is what makes the number 1 so special. It has the ability to birth diversity without losing its identity. Take water, hydrogen oxide. A simple molecule, 2 hydrogen atoms, 1 oxygen atom. Yet from this one chemical formula, water can manifest in forms that appear very different. Ice, solid, hard, transparent, hexagonal crystal structure. At -10 degrees Celsius, hydrogen oxide molecules are arranged in rigid geometry. Liquid water, flowing, filling the shape of containers, transparent. At 25 degrees Celsius, hydrogen oxide molecules move freely but remain connected by hydrogen bonds. Steam, invisible, floating, expanding to fill space. At 120 degrees Celsius, hydrogen oxide molecules move randomly with high kinetic energy. Dew, fine droplets in the morning, resulting from vapor condensation on cold surfaces. Clouds, collections of billions of micro-dispersed water droplets in the atmosphere. Snow, ice crystals with 6-fold symmetry, no 2 flakes identical. 6 different forms, hard versus soft, visible versus invisible, still versus moving. Yet molecularly, they are all the same H2O. Nothing changes at the fundamental level. Only external conditions, temperature, pressure, make one essence manifest in various forms. Similarly with light. Physicist Thomas Young in 1801 proved through the double-slit experiment that light is a wave, oscillation of electromagnetic fields propagating through space. Yet in 1905, Albert Einstein proved through the photoelectric effect that light is also a particle, photon, discrete energy packets that collide with electrons. 2 contradictory properties. Waves are continuous, particles are discrete. Waves spread through space, particles are localized at one point. Yet light doesn't choose one. It is both simultaneously, wave-particle duality. Quantum mechanics teaches us that at the fundamental level, light is one entity that manifests according to how we observe it. If we measure with a particle detector, it behaves like a particle. If we measure with an interferometer, it behaves like a wave. Its essence doesn't change, only its manifestation. This is not coincidence. This is a universal principle. Unity births diversity, yet diversity does not erase unity. The number 1 in abstract mathematics, unity that births infinity. Let's go deeper into pure mathematics. Consider the concept of the empty set, a set containing no elements. In Zermelo-Fraenkel's set theory, the foundation of modern mathematics, the empty set is the most fundamental building block. From the empty set, we can build the number 0. Then we define the number 1 as the set containing the empty set. From this one set, we can build the entire system of natural numbers. 0 equals empty set. 1 equals empty set. 2 equals empty set. 3 equals empty set. Then from natural numbers, we build integers, by adding negatives. From integers, we build rational numbers, fractions. From rational numbers, we build real numbers, by adding irrationals. From real numbers, we build complex numbers. From complex numbers, we build abstract algebra, group theory, topology, and the entire structure of modern mathematics. It all begins with one concept, a set containing one element. German mathematician Georg Cantor at the end of the 19th century developed the theory of infinite sets and discovered something surprising. There are many types of infinity. The infinity of natural numbers, 0, is smaller than the infinity of real numbers, 1. Yet all types of infinity originate from repeated operations on the number 1. Infinity is not a very large number. Infinity is the conceptual limit of the process of adding 1 repeatedly without end. The symbol infinity is not a destination, it is the journey from 1 that never stops. In other words, from 1, infinity is born. Philosophy of the number 1, monad and absolute unity. The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras, 574–95 BC, was not just a mathematician, he was a mystic who believed that numbers are the essence of reality. For Pythagoras and his followers, the number 1, which they called the monad, was the primordial principle, the source of all that exists. The monad was not merely a number, it was unity itself, undivided, unlimited, perfect. In Pythagorean teaching, 1 is the monad, unity. 2 is the dyad, duality, born when the monad moves, or divides itself. 3 is the triad, harmony, synthesis of 1 and 2. 4 is the tetrad, matter, foundation of the physical world. Yet all originate from 1. Pythagoras taught, all is number, and number is the one manifesting itself in diversity. The Neoplatonic philosopher Plotinus, 204–270 AD, developed the concept of the one, Tehen, the highest metaphysical principle that transcends existence, thought, and language. The one is absolute unity that cannot be defined, because every definition creates division, subject versus object. Yet from the one, through the process of emanation, not creation in time, but an overflow of being, are born. 1. Nous, divine intellect, cosmic mind. 2. Psyche, world soul, principle of life. 3. Matter, the physical world. This is not a temporal hierarchy, but an ontological hierarchy. Each level depends on the level above it, and all depend on the one. Like light radiating from the sun, light on earth is a manifestation of the sun, yet the sun remains whole. Likewise, reality is a manifestation of the one, yet the one remains transcendent. Modern science confirms unity behind diversity. 20th century physics has spent 100 years searching for one thing, the theory of everything, a single equation that can explain all fundamental forces in the universe. We know there are 4 fundamental forces. 1. Gravity attracts mass. 2. Electromagnetism attracts, repels electric charges. 3. Strong nuclear force binds protons and neutrons in atomic nuclei. 4. Weak nuclear force governs radioactive decay. In the 1960s, physicists Sheldon Glashow, Abdus Salam, and Steven Weinberg proved that electromagnetism and the weak nuclear force are one and the same force, called the electroweak force. At high energy, like moments after the Big Bang, these two forces cannot be distinguished. The 3 of them received the 1979 Nobel Prize for this discovery. Now physicists are trying to unify the electroweak force with the strong nuclear force in a grand unified theory, GUT, a theory predicting that at an energy of 10 to the power of 16 GeV, these 3 forces become one single force. The final step is to unify GUT with gravity in a theory of everything. The strongest candidate is string theory, which proposes that all fundamental particles, electrons, quarks, photons, gravitons, are actually not points, but vibrating strings in 11 dimensions. Particle differences are only caused by the vibration pattern of the string, like one guitar string producing different notes depending on how it's plucked. If string theory is correct, then the entire universe, every particle, every force, every interaction, is a manifestation of one fundamental entity, energy strings. The diversity we see, electrons versus protons, light versus gravity, is an illusion of difference. At the deepest level, everything is one. Back to the origin, the inevitable conclusion. The number one is not merely a mathematical symbol. It is a metaphysical mirror of the most fundamental principle in reality: unity precedes diversity. In mathematics, all numbers originate from one. In physics, the universe originated from a singularity, one point. In chemistry, all matter is composed of combinations of 118 elements, all made from three basic particles: protons, neutrons, electrons. In biology, all life on Earth shares one genetic code, DNA, with the same four bases. In music, all notes are multiples of the frequency of one bass note. In language, all words are composed of combinations of a limited alphabet. Diversity is differentiation from unity. The many are expressions of the one. Water can manifest as rain that moistens, rivers that flow, ice that freezes, and steam that evaporates, yet its essence remains H2O. Likewise, the number 1 births 2, 3, 10, millions, billions, infinity, yet its essence never changes. It remains the foundation, remains the identity, remains the origin. And if all reality, from subatomic particles to galactic superclusters, originates from one source, then the most pressing question we must ask is: what, or who, is that one? This question is no longer the domain of mathematics or physics. This is the most fundamental existential question ever faced by humanity. And in the chapters ahead, we will answer it, not with dogma, not with assumptions, but with pure mathematical logic, scientific evidence, and irrefutable philosophical reasoning. Because if we can understand the number one, its nature, its origin, its eternality, then we will understand the nature of reality itself. 5. Pure existence and the symbolization of being. In mathematical darkness, there exists the most mysterious concept, the number zero. For thousands of years, ancient civilizations like Egypt, Greece, and Rome did not know the number zero. They could count thousands, millions, yet they had no symbol for nothingness. When the Indian mathematician Brahmagupta, in the 7th century AD, first formulated the rules of operation for the number zero, he opened the door to a new dimension of human understanding. Yet zero is not absolute nothingness. This is a profound paradox. The number zero is a symbol for nothingness, yet the symbol itself exists. When you write zero on paper, you are giving form to the formless, a name to the nameless. The number zero in mathematics is a placeholder, a position marker that allows us to distinguish 1 from 10 from 100. It is a functional emptiness, not absolute nothingness. Imagine before the Big Bang. There was no space, not empty space, but no space at all. There was no time, not time stopped, but the concept of time did not yet exist. No matter, no energy, no laws of physics. This is what physicists call metaphysical nothingness, a condition where there is nothing, not even a place, for something to be. Then came one. If zero is emptiness, then one is the first explosion of being, a point that says to the void, I am. This is not merely a philosophical assertion, it is a mathematical fact. In set theory, the empty set, is the foundation, but it has no content. The number 1, defined as the set containing the empty set, is the first existence that has content. Mathematician Gottlob Frege at the end of the 19th century spent his career answering one question: what is a number? In his monumental work, Die Grundlagen der Arithmetik, The Foundations of Arithmetic, he concluded that numbers are not physical objects, not mental abstractions, but objective properties of sets. The number 1 is the property of having one element, and the existence of one element is the greatest ontological leap in the history of existence, from nothingness to being. In Euclidean geometry, the point is the first fundamental entity. Euclid defined it: a point is that which has no part. It has no length, width, or height, yet it exists. From one point, you can create a line by connecting two points. From a line, you can create a plane by moving the line. From a plane, you can create three-dimensional space by lifting the plane. All geometry, the foundation of architecture, engineering, physics, begins with one point. Physicist René Descartes in the 17th century revolutionized mathematics with the Cartesian coordinate system. He placed one point as the origin, 0, 0, the center of the entire coordinate system. From this one point, you can map the entire infinite plane. Every location in the universe can be represented as a distance from one reference point. Even the GPS on your phone works on the same principle. Satellites calculate your position based on distance from several reference points, and all distances are measured in units of 1, meters, kilometers. In digital technology, the foundation of modern civilization, the number 1 has a literal existential meaning. Computers don't think in words or images. They think in binary language, 1 and 0. Yet in this context, 1 is not merely a number, it is existence itself. Inside a microprocessor, 1 means electrical current flows, and 0 means electrical current does not flow. 1 is being, 0 is non-being. Every byte of data, every photo, video, message, program, is a sequence of existential decisions, being or non-being, alive or dead, yes or no. When you type the letter A on the keyboard, the computer translates it into ASCII code 0100000001, a specific pattern of being and non-being. Engineer Claude Shannon, who in 1948 laid the foundation for information theory, proved that all information in the universe can be represented with combinations of 1 and 0. Your vacation photos, the human genome, Beethoven's symphonies, even this book, all can be encoded as sequences of existence and nothingness. Shannon calculated that each bit, binary digit, one unit of information that can be 1 or 0, is the smallest unit of knowledge. Yet here's what's astonishing. A bit has no mass, no energy, in the traditional sense, yet it has real impact in the physical world. When you send a text message, you are sending a sequence of existential decisions through electromagnetic waves, and that message can change someone's emotions, trigger decisions, even move history. Information is the bridge between abstraction and reality. Physicist John Archibald Wheeler, mentor to many Nobel laureates, late in his career proposed a radical hypothesis, it from bit. He argued that at the most fundamental level, physical reality is not made of matter or energy, but of information. Every particle, every interaction, every phenomenon is an answer to a binary question, yes or no, being or non-being, 1 or 0. Thus, the number 1 is not merely a symbol, it is the most fundamental existential statement, I am. And from this single statement, the entire complexity of the universe unfolds. Every law of physics, every equation, every structure is an elaboration of one primordial fact: there is something, not nothing. Existentialist philosopher Martin Heidegger spent his life contemplating, warum ist überhaupt Sions und nicht vielmehr nichts? Why is there something rather than nothing? He called this the fundamental question of philosophy, the question that precedes all other questions. And mathematics provides a surprising answer, because one exists. And if one exists, then everything else becomes possible.